So, Ryan, welcome to the Meetup Spot.
Thanks for having me, Nigel. I really appreciate it. Thank you for this opportunity. And I look forward to the questions you have for me. And I just want to say I really like your channel and the videos you've done. Nice job. Great variety of people you've interviewed. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And not to mention, you're actually the first ever guest for 2026.
Well, I'm honored. Happy New Year.
All right, right. You too. You too. So, okay. So Ryan, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Okay. Ryan, tell me about yourself and your growing up story.
So I grew up in rural North Carolina and small town, nothing but country around you. Have really hardworking parents that taught me great values. Have a sister, and we are very close. We both love video games. Grew up in a time where Mario had just been released, and the first Mario Brothers game, and just fell in love with all of it. And so from there, I kind of got interested. I was definitely interested in video games growing up, and they really shaped my childhood in many different ways. But I was also interested in acting and theater and other creative arts like ceramics, sculpture, uh, some painting, drawing, all of this, and some singing as well. And really pursued that throughout my schooling. And then when I went to college, got a degree in theater education and thought maybe teaching would be a really good way to go because I had such great teachers in high school and they taught me well. And I went on to college, got a degree. I've been teaching for about 15 years and I've learned a lot. And I thought maybe I've done some community theater here and there and thought maybe YouTube is a way to get some of my hone some of my acting skills and also come across as genuine. And that's where my YouTube started. And following that, I became interested in Perler beading, and that's what my whole channel is about, along with retro gaming. But yeah, that kind of sums it up real quick. But again, had an excellent growing up. I cannot think of a better time to grow up than in the late 80s, all through the 90s. It was a time where the internet wasn't really a thing. And a lot of the kids I teach now just can't relate to that. A lot of the people I work with, some of the younger teachers, they can't really relate to that because the internet's always been there. And so I really treasure that time growing up where I could just play outside and my parents weren't hooked up to a phone in any way. We had one computer in the house and that was very slow, dial-up internet. So it was a very different world and I'm very thankful for that. Another thing that's important to me is my faith. I'm a Christian and I've brought that up on my YouTube channel and it's become kind of a part of what I do and kind of the lens that I look at the world through. So my faith is very important to me. And that kind of sums up who I am. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about the YouTube channel. But again, thanks for having me.
Again, thank you. So what's the best part of enjoying video games in the late 80s and the early 90s?
The best part of it was that we didn't have a YouTube. We didn't have anything like a YouTube. So if you think about just going out to the store and seeing something that you never seen before and picking it up and not knowing what it's about or what it does, you just kind of have an idea of what it is based on what the box says. Well, that was pretty much everything, including video games. So renting video games was a huge thing and you would go and discover new games, new VHS tapes, and then later on DVDs that you didn't know anything about till the movie trailers started showing up on TV. And that became a big way to advertise once everybody started seeing games on TV, on commercials, because that really started coming around in the late 90s. But the biggest thing is just discovery and really not knowing what's out there. And I can't tell you how many times we went to the rental store and we found a game and we chose it just based on what the box on the back had, the cool pictures it had, if it had a cool name or a cool cover. And that really went for everything. And so that's something that people now just can't really relate to unless you grew up during that time. But I really something I really appreciate about today's time is that you can look at videos and figure out if a game is for you or if a movie's for you. And that's a really cool thing about today versus growing up in the 90s. So there's good and there's not so good things about that. You may never try something that if you see a YouTube video now, you may never try that game. But the coolest thing was discovering Mario Brothers, discovering games like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, just happening upon them, and you weren't even thinking about it, you weren't even looking for them. And then you just kind of get a drip feed through game magazines where you would have to go out and find these magazines and look through them and see what caught your eye. So it was a very different world. And the big word here is discovery. And I'm happy I grew up during that time.
Okay, ooh, Discovery. And what kind and what video games do you rent out a lot?
So there were so many games when I look back. One big game is Chrono Trigger. So Chrono Trigger is a very popular game now, and people are wanting a remaster. It's been one of my top 10 games, probably my favorite game of all time. It's a JRPG, so a Japanese role-playing game, and it had an almost perfect story to it. And it was a marriage of these different creators. Akira Toriyama, who is famous for the Dragon Ball series and the manga for that, as well as the leader of Square at the time and the leader of Enix, Yuji Horii, who's responsible for the Dragon Quest series. And so you had all these guys coming together and they created something beautiful. So that was a game we just found at the rental store and we kept renting it and renting it. Some other games, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 6, Super Mario RPG was a big title. I remember we rented that 3 or 4 times. And then some other games, a lot of Mega Man games. I was never good at them. They're terribly difficult games, but I remember renting them, trying them out. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, one of the best games ever, best beat 'em ups. And I remember we rented that, we played through it, beat it several times. Um, so many others. Super Mario All Stars, which was 4 different Mario titles, the first Mario game ever, and 3 others. And the list just goes on, but there were so many that we tried, which if I grew up during this time, we probably would have never seen them in any way or tried them because we may have thought, hey, I don't like the way the graphics look or the way the gameplay is. So, but it was such a fun time, and God bless my parents for taking me to the rental store and renting a game for a weekend. And it was cheap too. It was very inexpensive to do that, which nowadays you do have demos, but other than that, you either have to buy the game and try to sell it later, or if it's digital, you can't really buy it or you can't really sell it again. So it's again a different world.
Ah, I see. Dang, you like
Yeah.
you know everything.
Oh, there's a lot of knowledge stuck in this head, a lot of trivia and from years of being around the game industry in different ways. So
Ah. So Ryan, when it comes to Perler beats and gaming videos, why do you do what you do?
So it was a process. I didn't really think about sharing my love for gaming in game reviews and that sort of thing till last year with the YouTube channel. I've had the YouTube channel for about 2.5 years. And how that kind of started was I had an Etsy store. I still have an Etsy store, and it's called Nostalgic Nick-Nacks. And I kind of carried that name over to the YouTube channel because I thought, well, I'm talking about things that I'm nostalgic for. And as a 38-year-old now, I look back fondly at those things. And I want to share those with others. And some others may have never played these games because either they weren't born in the same time period or they're not on their radar. And I think that having a channel where I can celebrate, I've got some Perler art here that I'll show, but I can celebrate games in a visual way. Here's Donkey Kong. And I can celebrate them in a visual way, but I can also talk about them. And now I'm kind of getting into gaming comparisons for the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 and showing people how games are running better. So I play modern games, but I also play a lot of retro games, and I love retro inspired games. And so the name Nostalgic Nick-Nacks just comes from really the Perler beating and how wonderful it is. And these are just little knickknacks. You know, they don't honestly, you can create these very cheaply, just buying the beads and the materials, but they're just knickknacks. They're things that you can put on display. Now, as you get into the bigger ones, you put more time into it, it becomes a little more intensive, so you have more colors. But this is from Final Fantasy Tactics, by the way, which is a fantastic tactical RPG. But so nostalgic knickknacks, things I'm nostalgic for, and it really is a big thing in today's YouTube landscape. Everything retro is new again, and so I'm happy to be a part of that and just share what I love.
I see. I see. Before I head to number three, do you still live in North Carolina?
I do, yes.
Oh,
I was born in North Carolina, raised here, and still live here. I've lived in quite a few areas of North Carolina, all the way in the Charlotte area, which is kind of in the middle of the state. Most of my life, I was on the coast near the beaches, so really enjoyed growing up there. And then I also spent time in Greensboro. That's where I went to college. So
oh,
now I'm kind of in the middle of the state again and more of a rural area, kind of like where I grew up. So love North Carolina. I tell everybody come visit because we've got the mountains, we've got the beaches. It's really nice weather here. Right now we're in January, and I honestly we had 65 degrees today. It started out in the 40s. Now it's a nice warm. It's not bad. We do get cold winters, but this time it's kind of a warm front that's come through. So
I see. I see. And okay. And Ryan, what got you started into perler beading, and how did it go on from there?
So getting started with beading was kind of something that I couldn't plan, really. The way it happened is very simple. My sister, who's 4 years older than me, so we're very close, like I said, she got me for my birthday. She said, "Your birthday gift is coming in the mail and you're going to love it." And I said, "Okay." And so a week later, I got the gift. I opened it up, and it was a set of Mario characters, and they were all made out of these beads, and I didn't know anything about perler beading, which is crazy because I actually did a video on the history of perler beading. And in that video, I realized perler beading's been around for ever since the 50s, even the 40s in some places, kind of started in Europe and Sweden in that area and kind of grew from there. But it was something that I didn't know anything about, and so from there, I asked myself, can I do this myself? And it was kind of a learning process, and I'm still learning every project that I do. It's kind of like painting or drawing. It really is an art form. It's more than a craft. It's an art form. And there's amazing pieces I see online that people do. But this art form is something you improve at. And as I started doing it, I got better and better and just more at ease and comfortable with it. And the biggest thing is I get to create these wonderful characters that I love. And that's why I say in my videos, watch me create characters that I love. Come on and check out this video. I made characters from this game because a lot of people do this, but I love framing it around a game that I love and telling the story of that game in different ways. But I really loved it, kept doing it. I've been doing it for a little over 3 years now, kind of around the time COVID had started. I was starting to think about it. And from there, I just kept doing it. I still enjoy it. Takes a lot of time sometimes. And as a full time teacher, I have limited time, but I enjoy working on a project. And I'll go ahead and show this. This is one of my bigger projects. So this is a character from Xenogears, which is not so well known with the modern gamers, but um, a big, tall sprite character. I've also made Mega Man characters. They're even taller than this, and it's just cool connecting with people and learning how to do this even better. And one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel was to do it better than what I was seeing on YouTube. And I thought, hey, I've got something to add here. I figured things out here. I figured out how to iron things better, what's the best heat press to use, and what are the best tweezers to use. And I thought if I need help with this and I figured it out, then others need help with this. And so that's where I thought, hey, I'll do a YouTube channel.
Okay. And you mentioned Xenogamers is not so well known. So can you tell us a bit about Xenogamers?
Yeah, so Xenogears is
Oh,
a Japanese role-playing game that was made by Square Enix, and and since then, the creator of this game, him and his wife, they actually have went on to create the Xenoblade Chronicles games. And so the Xenoblade Chronicles games are very popular. A lot of people are familiar with them, but Xenogears is really where it started. And this game hasn't been remastered, but this game spans centuries and centuries. It's like a big epic, like a Star Wars epic. And there are memorable characters. They cover religion in this game. There's Gnosticism in this game. There's Freud and other psychological theories and knowledge in this game. But it's all in a game. It's all in a story that has a hero and it has bad guys and good guys and romance and a love story, and it was very ambitious at the time. And in fact, the game was on 2 discs, and the second disc was not really finished. They had to there's a lot that goes into this game, but they had to kind of rush things out the door a little bit because time was running out, and they had to get the game out because they just needed that title finished. With game development, there's a lot of money tied up in it, and so sometimes creators don't get to really finish what they started. And yeah, just such a memorable game.
I see. I see. So okay, so okay, Ryan, what are your challenges in doing a YouTube channel?
So as you know, you've got your YouTube channel. I think you've got 2 or 3 different channels now, from what I saw.
Uh,
So by the way, I loved your Perler beading videos. I got to see a few of those, so I thought it
thanks.
was really cool. Yeah. Um, so what are the challenges? There are lots of challenges, but everything from camera to lighting to figuring out how to do a video without saying the same words over and over again and just saying awesome over and over. These are things that you learn through practice. And I've heard it said before that if you do something for 100 hours, you become an expert in it. I've heard that over and over. And it actually really is true. And the more you do something, the better you get at it. But some of the complications I came across was just how do I film myself making a Perler bead project? How do I make that look good? Um, how can I edit and get better at editing to make the video short and succinct and where people are basically seeing what I promised them and not a bunch of fluff. I don't like a bunch of fluff. I want people to really get a lot of great things out of the video. And so uh, I've had problems with cameras before. I got a great camera here. I recommend to people smartphones are great. They're excellent, but I've got a DSLR camera and it works really well for me. But everybody's different, and I would say my advice for YouTube channel is if you are wanting to create, go ahead and create. Use your phone. Use the microphone on your phone. I've got a nice mic now, but I didn't start out that way. I've got a nice camera, but I didn't start out that way. I had to learn how to do things better, and that's the way things go. You just keep going. You don't give up on it. And I remember there was like I needed two cameras to try to film something. Something that I'm really trying to figure out right now is streaming and live streaming and doing that well. So that's something that I just go to YouTube, I search for videos of people doing it well, and that's another piece of advice. But yeah, it's a constant thing trying to figure out something new. Making sure you don't have copyrighted music. That was another thing. So yeah, lots of things, but don't let anything stop you from creating a video because you never know who might be interested in it.
Okay. And okay. What made you a lover of retro video games? Which I think we sort of covered that earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The main thing I would say is the pixel art, the music, the art direction of these games. It really is something that you don't see a lot of these days, but I love the pixel art. There's something amazing about just seeing the pixels create a character. I love it so much better than 3D art, which is really great. But I mean, this is a tiny mini bead project. They're so hard to even get on the camera here, but they're
Yes. Oh, oh,
tiny
oh, oh, it's
beads.
good. Looking good.
Thank you. So it's these are the mini beads. They're a quarter of the size of these beads. And so, but I love the pixel art. I'm a sucker for pixel art.
Okay. And about the craft fair video, despite the fact that you don't get that much profit in craft fairs, but you still meet a lot of good people, are you still doing it?
So I haven't done a craft fair in a while,
Oh,
but I did a few and did a video about one of the ones I did. I actually also did a garage sale and I had some characters out there and I got some sales from that. But I would just encourage people if you're trying out the crafting or if you've never tried it, try it out. You never know who you're going to meet. And I really enjoy doing that, even if I don't do it regularly. I encourage people to try it. I might do it if I can figure out a way to get at a go to a gaming convention. I might do a booth or something like that in the future. But I think it takes a lot of hard work. But it's worth it if you think you've got the buyers there to buy your product. But the conversations that you have with people are very interesting. So I might do it again in the future, but go out there, put yourself out there. Even if you make just enough to cover the cost of your booth, it's worth it because you tried it. And hey, maybe you make some connections.
and so far, what are your best experiences in being a craft?
So my best experiences with perler beading.
Well, no, well that and being in a craft
So in crafting, and is that what you were saying?
fair. Both perler beating and craft fair.
Oh, got you. So the best part about the day. So when I went to do a craft fair and I was just going through the day, there were some moments where I thought nobody's going to really want to buy these characters. And then I come across somebody who just comes up and says, "Hey, I love that character. I remember that character. I played that game when I was little," or "I love Mario." I mean, every Mario is very recognizable. So it's just fun to see the smiles on people's faces, not just the kids, but the parents too. So that would be my most memorable part of the process.
Okay. And how is patience important?
So working with beads on a board with tweezers or just with your hands, you really have to practice patience. So with perler beading, as you know, you can knock over beads very quickly. It's so easy to knock them all over and get frustrated and walk away from your project. But I would encourage people just take time out if you get frustrated, and then come back to it later. That's the great thing about perler beads is that they can sit on the board. Now, if you have a cat or if you have a dog that might get on them or kids, you might have to put it up higher. But having it having it in a place where you can walk away from it and come back, that will help you out. But just going through the process, becoming more efficient with how you put the beads down with the tweezers, that's going to help you develop that patience, just being better at it through practice. And patience is so important overall because as people, we can become very impatient very quickly. And so we have to practice patience, which is not a natural habit that people have. So I think it's very important, not just with perler beading, but also with gaming. There's so many kids that I see that get frustrated if they don't get it right with whatever it is, gaming, work, homework, whatever. But I think it's such an important thing to instill in young people, people my age, people older, have patience, practice patience.
And when it's okay, it's B brands. I believe when you checked out my question list, you said that top two beers is gone.
Yep.
So we changed the question. So I have a replacement for number eight. Do you use other bead brands aside from Perler?
So I haven't used anything else besides
Oh,
Perler just because I have two things here. I have two containers with all these colors from Perler just because they were the first company I knew of and I bought lots of colors. So practically, it makes more sense to stick with one brand, but I will probably branch out to Art Call, which Top Tier Beads actually rebranded their beads from Art Call. So they did a great job. I'm so sorry to hear that they're out of business at this point, but great people, but things happen. Art Call is really great. They have a huge range of colors. But there's some other videos I'd love to make about these cheap beads that you can buy out there and just see, do they work well? I'd love to do that. There's another company called Pixie Beads that I just heard about. And so they have their own beads. And so I might buy them and try it out on the channel. But there's so many brands out there. Perler is the most recognizable.
okay. And there's also such thing as Horizon Group USA too, which I managed to get.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to
Okay,
check
but
them out too.
although they're smaller than Perler, but although they're
Mhm.
smaller than Perler, but I mean managed to make them compatible, even if it doesn't look that perfect.
Yeah, and it's all about experimentation. So sometimes the brands may not work well, sometimes they will.
Okay. Okay. And if people want to try out the hobby you're doing, what do they need to do right now?
So the first thing I would direct people to is go watch my first video that I did on all the accessories you're going to need for perler beading. That would be my first thing. Now there are some other people as well. There is Beatamon Pixels. He makes these huge Pokemon sprites, and there's some other people. But I would say try to watch some of my introductory videos to perler beading. I have one on tweezers. I have one on perler bead boards. I have one on iron. I have quite a few on ironing. So watch that. But I would also say go out, get a beginner's kit with the different colors, or go to Amazon or somewhere else online. Grab that. It doesn't cost very much. Grab one of the small boards or a pack of four and find a sprite that you want to make, or make something of your own, or make some of the templates that they include, and try it out and see if it's for you. It's not for everybody, but I would say if you want to try it out, it's not going to be very expensive. You would probably get away with $25 with just some of the preliminary materials. And you don't even need a heat press to start with if you already have an iron. Try that out. Um, Very easy to get started with this compared to something like maybe painting, where you have to get certain colors or certain types of paint or whatever else it is. But it's very easy to get into and try it out.
Okay. And do you find perler beads are costly sometimes?
Do I find perler beads
Costly.
costly? So if you buy a lot of them, then it does add up. And I have to say that the prices have increased over the past 5 years. So it used to be probably about 7.99 for the big 6,000 bead bag, and you get all those beads. And I think it was 7.99, and now it's all the way up to 11.99, 12.99 in some places. And then the small bags used to be, I think I saw them at 99 cents before, and now they're all the way up to 2.99, and online they can be even more expensive. So it is getting more costly to like mass produce characters. But again, if you're just making a few characters like Cloud here from Final Fantasy VII, um, you will you'll have enough. You need some colors, and you can match what kind of shades you need and all of that with what you might need. But there's so many different colors. But try it out first, check it out. But it is costly to get started, to get a bunch of colors. Not to get started, but to get all the exact colors you need. But if it's worth it to you, it's worth it to you to create art.
And what do the videos and the perler projects you do right now mean to you?
Well, I have to say, when they all mean something, because they are characters that I've loved playing digitally for years. But the biggest thing is that when I create a project and I finish it, it is so satisfying to look back and say, wow, I created that character. And the character looks so colorful, and I can display the character on the shelf. I think it's so cool to have that satisfaction. The other thing is that when you connect with others online, there's a huge Facebook Perler Bee groups. You really start to see that there's a community around this, and we're all celebrating each other's art as well as the games themselves. So they mean a lot to me, just as much as the games. Very nostalgic.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for the questions. Are you ready for quick fire?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. I guess you know the drill. Dang it, no, buying anything. Uh, but here we go. Here we go.
All
90
right.
seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Ready. Ready. Start now. One word to describe yourself.
Perseverance.
What is your best Perler beating tip?
Have patience. Lots of it.
Okay. Best artist you love to listen to.
Mumford and Sons. Love them.
One everyday item you can't leave without.
My Bible.
Oh. Mantra in life.
Say that one again.
Mantra in life.
My mantra in life. So, what I found was that I was created on purpose for a purpose. created on purpose for a purpose.
Beautiful. Best place in North Carolina for a good meal.
I love going to Kava. Kava is an excellent restaurant.
Oh yeah. Okay. Best place in North Carolina to go road tripping or travel.
Oh, the North Carolina mountains. You cannot
Oh,
go wrong with those views.
I see. I see. Best lesson you learned in being a Perler bead.
Try, and try again.
Best project by far.
I love my Final Fantasy Tactics characters and how they turned out. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Louis fan, yes or no?
You know what? I loved Blue's Clues. I
Oh,
didn't ever watch Bluey, but Blue's Clues is awesome. So no for
oh,
Bluey.
okay. 90 seconds is done. Are you ready for the screenshot?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Any comments and feedbacks before we go?
I just want to say I appreciate your interview style and everything. And thanks again for the opportunity. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you, thank you. And anywhere we can find you on YouTube
So,
or
if you would like to ask for uh, uh, if you want to go to YouTube, check me out. Of course, I have my YouTube channel, Nostalgic Nick-Nacks. I am also on Etsy, so that's Nostalgic Nick-Nacks as well. And if you search for Mario Perler beads, you'll probably see me pop up. And if you want special commissions, I definitely do that as well. It may take some time, but I'll definitely make what you would like. So check me out and hit me up on Etsy for some cool characters.
okay. And again, Ryan, thank you, thank you.
Of course, thank you, Nigel. I really appreciate the chance to sit down and chat with you.
All right, thanks. I
Thank
guess
you.
yep, thanks. And I guess we gotta stop recording
Okay. Well, it's been fun, man. I appreciate what you're doing.
now. All right, thanks.